It's Lions season. The squad has assembled. The stage is set, and the coaches have coached. The coaches have coached. And this historic team is ready to take on its next challenge, Australia. But before we crack into the bush of Australia, just be careful how you Google that. It's important that we know the history of this legendary team. So today I will cover the entire history of the Lions in under 10 minutes. Sort of. I'll probably leave out some of the boring stuff. It's my idea, okay? The touring began in 1888 when Robert Seddon took a party of 22 touring to New Zealand and Australia. The voyage itself took 46 days and the tour was 249 days long. So at what point does it go from being a rugby tour to just a lad's holiday? Okay, let's be honest here. They played in red, white and blue for 35 games against local teams, winning 27, drawing 6 and only losing 2. In 1891 came the first Test series versus South Africa. It was a bit of a landslide victory for the Lions with 20 games played in total, all of which were won by the Lions. But soon South Africa would catch up. They weren't really known as the Lions at this point, more so the British Isles or the British teams, or the weird blokes that came over with boats and balls. Jolly good day, chaps. Fancy a game of throw ball? We then jumped to 1910, which is known as the first official tour, featuring players from all 4 nations. This was great because it was the first time they toured as one whole unit over to South Africa. What could possibly have gone wrong? Surely they win this time. They lost 2-1. And then World War I happened. They didn't tour again until 1924, when they first picked up the nickname of the Lion, due to the lion logo on their tie. Thank goodness for whoever put the lion on the tie, because in a different universe, we could be calling them the Beavers or the Ducks. Doesn't really quite have the same ring to it, not quite as intimidating. Ooh, watch out, the Beavers are coming. The Beavers are coming to tour. The Mooses. It doesn't quite work. In 1927, the Lions toured Argentina, competing in Argentina's first ever official international game. They played 9 matches in total, which all went really badly for Argentina, conceding 295 points and only scoring 9. And then a few more tours happened, and then World War II. Forcing the Lions not to tour again until 1950, a mere 12 years later. And boy did they come back with a bang, touring New Zealand and Australia, donning their brand new iconic red jerseys. The 50s went reasonably well for the Lions, losing to New Zealand, beating Australia and drawing to South Africa.
He passes to Elbridge, and Elbridge races for the line and crashes over in a tackle. A gallant effort by New Zealand's captain, who just returned to the field after having 4 stitches put in his forehead.
The 60s brought the first ever Lions manager in Des O'Brien and coach John Robbins in 1966, providing success in beating Australia but losing to New Zealand. Pause right there. If you haven't yet liked nor subscribed to the channel, then an actual real life lion will come and eat you. Okay? That sounds pretty scary to me. I wouldn't want it. Alright? Good. You may continue. But then came the golden era, the early 70s, with 1971 providing their only ever Test series victory against New Zealand, 2-1. Featuring legends like Barry John, Gareth Edwards, J.P.R. Williams and J.J.R. Tolkien, who wrote the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Sorry, that can't be right. I didn't. Oof. And then came the Invincibles in 74, who beat South Africa with 3 wins, 0 losses and 1 draw.
And there was the forward support, McBride and Brown, Utley as well, and eventually to the hands of J.J. Williams, and he became the first Lion to score 2 tries in a Test in this century.
But that quickly came grinding to a halt between 1977 and 1993, when things really weren't going well for the Lions. During that time period, they had 3 losses to New Zealand, a loss to South Africa, but a win against Australia. We can always rely on Australia. In 1995, professionalism came to rugby, and with that came the first professional Lions tour. They toured to South Africa for the first time since 1980 and managed to come away with a historic 2-1 victory. The 1997 tour featured the first ever Lions documentary, raw, unfiltered, behind-the-scenes access to everything that occurred during the tour. These became cult classic rugby artifacts of legends gone by, featuring some great moments that are loved by rugby fans all over the world. Some of the most iconic rugby speeches of all time were caught while making these documentaries, so much so that I actually used them for motivation to get out of bed.
There are two kinds of rugby players, boys. There's honest ones and there's the rest. Okay. The honest player gets up in the morning and looks himself in the fucking mirror and sets his standard, sets his stall out and says, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get better, I'm going to get better. He doesn't complain about the food or the beds or the referees or all these sort of things. These are just peripheral things that weak players are always complaining about. The dishonest player.
In 2000, I was born. It has no relevance to the Lions at all. I just thought maybe it would be interesting to know. Probably not, actually, in hindsight. Yeah. The early 2000s for the Lions was rough. Fortunately, I was too mush-brained to even realise any of this, but they lost all 3 test series. But along came the Gatland era, bringing with it the first test series win in 16 years against Australia.
They tried to tap him, but could not go to the outside. North for the corner. He's been unleashed.
Drawing to New Zealand in 2017 with arguably one of the best series of all time, and losing to South Africa in 2021 in arguably the most boring test series of all time. But then here we are. We were all caught up in 2025, the tour against Australia, with new faces, a new era, old faces joining once again. But with all the challenges we've seen since 1888, some things will never change. The values of the Lions and rugby as a whole. A sprinkling of fun, physicality, competitiveness and respect all mixed together to make an entertaining tour that can be enjoyed by all. So there you go, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe learned something. If you did, please feel free to subscribe and like. And hopefully I'll see you in the next time. I think the tour will be 2-1 to the Lions. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Alright, nice one. Hopefully see you soon. Bye 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 bye.